Okay, you might want to be taking some notes down. I mean, if you have a good like mental notepad, great. Tip number 1, this is the one you want to write down. The color that you use for your ombre is very important, okay? You know me, and my education has come from Japanese gel nail training. So in Japanese gel nail trainings, the key to ombres, it's almost like a little bit of cheating, tiny bit, and that requires that you use colors that are semi-opaque, okay, that are semi-translucent. I don't know, maybe that sounds a little too see-through, but that are slightly sheer, okay, that they're not full coverage in one coat, okay? So how do you know if the color that you're using is the right color, right? Yeah, don't try that, okay? Maybe don't even try that here. You want to try pastels that don't have too much white. White is going to be the enemy in an ombre unless you're trying to do a white ombre. And actually for white ombre, that is why Japanese gel nail companies offer a gradation white. You guys know Kokoist gradation white. I was telling you that it sells twice as much as any other of their colors. It's just so pretty. It's kind of what I'm wearing on my nails here. Leafgel KO8, just in case you're wondering. So again, a little bit of translucency, a little bit of opacity, not full coverage. So again, I'm going to teach you this based on like Japanese gel nail training principles, and this is how they do it, right? The one-tone ombre, okay? And for this, I promised you that I was going to show you how to use the tap brush from Kokoist. And this brush it's I believe it's sable hair or goat hair. I want to say goat hair. And so it's actually real hair. And it's really, really firm, okay? So you cannot damage this brush. Actually, I've been trying to damage it for a year or two because I've been trying to get it to be like more spongy, or more, flared, I guess. So it's difficult. Like this thing will not bend. You can add like all of this pressure to it. And let me make sure my audio's here. And you will not create like any damage to it. You see that? Like I'm telling you, I've been trying to get it to get like more poofy, but it just doesn't even do that. All right. So do not worry about messing up this brush. This brush is also good for like picking up things, right? So if you have like little foil flakes, right, and you're going to be placing them on the nail, then you can do it with tap brush, okay? Again, it's kind of hard to mess up brush, okay? So you would just pick things up. Some glitter, you can do that too, right? You would pick up some glitter and put it here, right? If you don't mind glitter on your brush, I'm sure a lot of us do, okay? But tonight, we are going to be doing the one-tone ombre with this brush. All right, so you're going to need a light color, one that is semi-opaque, okay? Not fully opaque, not full coverage. Kokoist labels their colors sheer with an S at the end of them. So if you see like the number E120S, that means that color is sheer, okay? It has some translucency to it. With Vetro, if you see a color that is a 1-star or a 2-star, let me see if I have that, that color is going to be slightly sheer, okay? The best, you can actually take any 2-star gel from Vetro. Here you see the star system there, that's why it's there. So it's like semi-opaque, okay? So I'm trying to find another one. There's some translucency if you see, and the texture is just very easy to glide on, okay? So the 2 stars are recommended for ombres. The 1 stars are also recommended for ombre, but those are definitely going to be very sheer. Like if you have a 1-star gel with Vetro, very sheer, and the gel will apply very like buttery, like very not liquidy, but not as hard, okay? So the star system has to do with translucency, opacity, right? And its texture. All right, so with that being said, I am going to be using a Leafgel color. I'm going to be using 903. Okay, so 903, you're going to see, is kind of what we were talking about, right? It's not like a fully jet brown anything, right? It's very kind of slightly milky. It's not really a milk chocolate kind of color. There's some translucency here. So this is going to be the perfect gel. Now, Leafgel also uses the star system, but they only use it on their catalog. They actually don't use it on the pot. So I already applied a layer of base. Base gel may or may not help you do your gradation easier. So then I am going to grab 903. And then I am also going to be using Art Clear Serum. This one is just a clear color gel. I'm going to go ahead and apply 903. We are going to apply it 2/3 of the way. Okay, and why 2/3? Because you're essentially going to be pulling the color down. Okay. I actually think I might have applied a little too much, so I'm taking some off, or just thinning it throughout my application. Okay, so now I want to grab a liner brush, and this is like kind of entry level gradation. Okay, so what I mean by that is that like anyone should be able to recreate this tonight. I want to see some homework. All right, so we have Art Clear Zero, which was that one that I told you about, and I'm gonna take it on a liner brush, and I'm just going to apply it on the smile line here, just like a nice healthy dollop, not too much, not too little. And guess what, now we're going to take the tap brush and we're going to get rid of our players for a second. I'm going to move it away, and then I'm going to start working up and down the color here. Okay, up and down, like so, up and down. Yes, I see. Okay, so you guys see it's starting to kind of do its thing. One of the reasons why Art Clear Zero has become one of my favorite gels is because it kind of does the blending for you. It moves so nice. Like if this gel could dance, it would dance. Definitely wouldn't have two left legs like me. Okay, so then give it a little time to, you know, clear out those bubbles. Maybe if you have a little bit too much product on your brush, now it's the time to wipe it off. Whoa, I have my little alcohol pad right here, so I'm just gonna brush it off and then just keep working it. So keep working up and down, little taps, up and down on right on that border. You see that, up and down, and you see that my brush is not like way up here and down, up and down, up and down, not at all. Like it's very close to the nail surface, right? And I'm starting up here and then I'm moving down. Okay, so I'm gonna go here one more time, kind of repeat what I just did. Make sure I get rid of all of those little bubbles. This time I'm just going across. I'm not doing the up and down. I just want to get rid of these little bubbles here. All right. So now I'm going to take it down. Okay. So I'm going to keep going here just a tiny bit, up and down, up and down, up and down. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and cure this because I spent plenty of time on it already. And I'm just going to do a second coat when it comes back out. And I'm just going to cure it for 10 seconds in our Leafgel UV LED light. Where can I find a brush like this? This one is Kokoist brush, okay? Oops. Kokoist gel brush. And then there is a link you can use to purchase, and I'll go over that a little later. Okay, so now I'm going to do a second coat, okay? So one thing about Japanese soft gel gradation is that you don't have to worry about rushing this process. Okay, so now obviously we're gonna get a nice more pigmented second coat, And here you're gonna want to go. You're gonna want to go at least halfway, a little less than half. Okay. There. Still keep the color very thin. If you've been through my program, you know that working with product on one side of the brush is super important. And if you haven't been through the program, I'm letting you know now. Okay, so now I'm going to take my liner brush again, and I'm going to grab that clear gel. You can try this with a sanding free base, or you can try this with a top coat, a potted top coat, if you don't have this clear gel, which is Kokoist, was it Art Clear? Ooh. Okay, it may work, but the self-leveling of this gel is superb. Okay, so now I'm going to do the same thing. Just little micro taps. So up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. And I promise you, if you use these like semi-sheer colors, you are going to be an ombre specialist by this time tomorrow. Like, it's nothing. Do you guys see that little piece of lint again? How it decided to show up and ruin our lesson again? Okay, did better this time about removing it. Okay, so then just keep doing the same thing. If you wanted to blend up here a little bit more first before you went down, then sure, it's just up and down, 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 up and down. Tiny. I'm talking about like micro taps. That sounded funny. I am talking about. Okay, so now I'm going to do one more time. Just keep going down. Up and down, 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 up and down. Sorry for the repetition. You may have like nightmares tonight of me up and down, up and down, up and down. Okay, so just give it a little time to self-level. It will self-level. And then if you want to get rid of anything extra, maybe you can do so like this. Feel free to wipe your brush in between if you feel like you don't want to contaminate that area. So you see I came up here. So the next thing I did was clean my brush because I don't want to put any of that brown stuff, gel, back on the top, right? So again, just tiny. I'm talking about like super delicate. Really, really train your hands with Japanese gel to be delicate, okay? That's the difference. That's one of the many differences, but that's very important. All right, so I'm going to let this self-level. All right, and I am going to go ahead and cure it now. Give it a full cure this time. And I don't know if you know this, but when you do ombre, when you do ombre, when you do French tip, we call it a maze, okay? Me and my nail friend Karen, who's also part of the group here, we call it the maze. Like, don't get into the maze of French tipping because you just like, it's never going to be perfect for you, especially when you have 10 fingernails. Like, set it, keep moving to your like next 4 nails, right? And then revisit it and adapt, right? But don't get stuck on one nail if you're working on a client, please. Okay, so the reason why I say that is because now you're like, well, I still see like little thingies here, there, you know, and I was so delicate, like I still see it, right? Okay, tip number 2. I think I've given you like a big tip in the beginning. I kind of forgot what it was. But the big second or third tip is top coat. The top coat that you use is so important. Do not use non-white top coat if it's super thin, which is usually the case with a non-white top coat. It's usually very thin. So Leafgel's non-white top coat is very thin. It's not a bad thing. It's just you got to perfect the nail before you apply that top coat, because otherwise every little imperfection you're going to be able to tell with that non-white top coat. So I'm going to be using Kokoist Ultra Glossy Non-White Top Coat because it is a little thicker. Surprisingly, I was actually very shocked when I found out that when I applied it, it's actually not very thin. So it actually fills in those little grooves there that are kind of annoying to a lot of us. Anyone probably doing nails is going to be annoyed by it. So it's a little thicker. If you didn't have Ultra Glossy Non-White Top Coat, use a top coat that requires wiping off. So in this case, I would use Glossy from Leafgel. Glossy is a little thicker, so it's going to self-level and fill in those little divots, right? All the little ding ding dings that we created on the nail there, right? They're going to drive us mad. Then this top coat is going to fill those in. Again, use glossy, or in this case, Kokoist is the exception. Their non-wipe top coat is actually not super thin. So it's going to fill it in a little bit, and you can apply it. I think, not to confuse you, I'm just gonna say this: do not use non-wipe top coat. Okay, I know the consistency of Kokoist and it would work, but just so I don't confuse you, like, use a top coat that you have to wipe off the tacky residue, because that top coat's going to be a little bit thicker and it's going to fill in all those little grooves. Okay, and it's going to make your ombre anxiety, which I can carry myself, disappear, just like me right now off of the screen. All right, so now I'm going to take glossy. Base again. I am not kidding, and I am not just trying to promote you this product here. This thing is like a game changer, and it took me so long to use it just because I was like, well, how different is it? Aren't they all clear? But once I played with it, and it doesn't have adhesion component, it's literally like a clear color gel. Okay, then I was like, I get it. Okay, and then Coco did tell me, she's like, in Japan, when they use this, like, they don't want to use anything else. By this time tomorrow, you are going to be an ombre pro. Well, sorry for the abrupt cut. Thank you so much for joining us. And if you want to join us in a live class every week, we do that in our private community. The link for that group is down below in the description box. And don't forget to shop using our links below also. They help support this channel. Thanks, and we'll see you next week.